Hey everybody, it's Angie and welcome to Hot and Flashy. In today's video, I've got a makeup tutorial for mature women who normally don't wear any makeup but want to figure out how to work a little bit of makeup into their everyday look. The idea for this video came from a viewer who wrote in and asked me to do a really simple, everyday, get out the door quickly for work makeup look that didn't involve a ton of makeup. She was so frustrated because she's been looking on YouTube for videos like this, and all the no makeup videos actually use a ton of makeup to achieve a no makeup look. What she wanted was just a way to look a little bit better than she actually is without having to invest in a ton of like foundation and do contouring and highlighter and bronzer and blusher and eyeshadow and learn new techniques and brushes. So that is the goal in today's video. I'm going to break it down into 3 sections. The first one is going to be how to prep the skin so that it looks good with no makeup on it. The second one is going to be how to correct things that don't look like we want them to. And the third section is on how to define and bring back that contrast, that color into your face that makes you look, better and more polished than you are. Of course, this may be more steps than you want. It may be less steps than you want. You can, of course, customize this to you. If there's something that I've left off that you would never leave the house without, then by all means put it on as you normally would. So let's start in with prepping the skin. I always think that's really important because, once we get older and past menopause, our skin tends to be a little bit drier. If you have dry skin, it's really important to put on some moisturizer in the morning, even if you're pressed for time. So you would, I assume, wash your face or at least splash it with water or get in the shower or something in the morning. When you get out, the best thing to do for your skin is to lock in that moisture on the surface of your skin so that it stays in there and you don't experience too much water loss throughout the day, making your skin look kind of dull and dry. So a nice lightweight moisturizer that I love is the CeraVe PM. It's got some nice anti-aging ingredients in it, so it's terrific. This one tends to be a little bit shiny on me because I do have the oily T-zone. So if you have dry skin, definitely recommend this one. The one I'm going to use today is from Olay. It's from their new Whips line, and this is the Total Effects Whips. This has a lot of the same anti-aging ingredients in it as the CeraVe does. I'm just going to take a little bit out on my finger, rub it between my hands, and just apply it to my skin. The other thing that I would use to prep your skin every day is sunscreen. Both these products come in versions with sunscreen. If you're pressed for time, they're both great. They don't leave any white cast on your skin. These are both chemical sunscreens. I don't use chemical sunscreens just because my skin's a little sensitive and they irritate me, so I use mineral sunscreen every day. So I put on my moisturizer first and then I put on my mineral sunscreen as a second step. This one is from EltaMD. It's their UV Physical SPF 41. This is a nice tinted sunscreen that is great for a no makeup day because it will even out your skin tone a little bit. So I'm using a lot because that's how much you need to get the full SPF protection on the label, but I also do put it on my neck and on my ears and everything and the backs of my hands every day. Letting this set up for the 15 or 20 minutes that it needs, it will then lose this kind of paler, slightly pinky look to it. It also contains antioxidants. It's a really good moisturizing sunscreen, so if you do have dry skin, it's a really good one to use. But I love this sunscreen because it's kind of smoothing on the pores and it really makes them look nice, and it does start to do some of our color correcting. So now we're ready to move on to the correcting stage. So I don't know many people over 50 who don't have some issues under their eyes or around their nose. So I've got a couple of recommendations for you for products here. One of the most popular ones is the Bare Minerals Powder Foundation. It's all minerals, so it's very natural and it blends in with your skin. It doesn't look dry, it doesn't look cakey, especially if you use just a little bit of it on the areas that you want to conceal. So that is one solution. Of course, with this, you do need a brush to apply it. The brush that I like the best is from IT Cosmetics. It's their Heavenly Luxe Complexion Perfection brush, and it has 2 ends, a detail end so that you can get in like right around your nose or underneath your eyes. So you can use this to do both your under eye concealing and your kind of around the nose concealing, or you can use more of a traditional concealer. And this one is great. It's Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Dark Circle Eraser. This comes in a few different shades. This one comes in like 30 shades, so you'll have a better time getting a color match in this than you will in this. So I was thinking of using a combination of these two. I know for some people it's going to be too much makeup, but you can choose one or the other, right? I'll show you like using this for both on this side of my face, this for both on this side of my face. It normally comes with like that big spongy tip on here, which I hate, and so I just tear it off and then I just get a little concealer out like that. I put it on the back of my hand over there, and then I'll just use my finger to apply it. So I just dip my finger in. I don't want a lot of concealer, so I just have a little bit on the tip of my finger, and I'm just going to concentrate most of it at the inner corner of my eye where I do tend to have a little bit of a dark shadow there. I'm going to bring it across with little patting motions and out underneath my eye, but I really don't want most of it to be out here where my wrinkles are, because that's where it's gonna crease. And then I'm just gonna keep pressing it in, pressing and patting, and want to get a really smooth and even blend on that. So just take your finger and just blend it right on down. And that's going to help to even out some of the color around your nose. If you want to get a little bit more off the back of your hand, you can take a tiny little bit there and just press it in to like the deepest parts around the sides of your nose where you're going to have those broken capillaries and things. So you're just going to press it in there. If your nose tends to be red, you can bring it across and up the top of your nose. I don't want to have this end up be that your whole face is full of concealer, but where I tend to have a lot of redness is right here. If you have an age spot over there, you can press a little bit onto that. So we're just spot covering and correcting the things that we want to correct without doing a full face of makeup. I'm just going to take my full hand and I'm just going to press everywhere to just kind of blend that in. So we'll take a look at that side versus this side, which hasn't been done. So let me go ahead on the other side with the Bare Minerals. So with this, what you do is you just sprinkle a little bit of it out into the cap. And then with the smaller end of the brush, you're just going to dip into the powder, swirl it into the cap, make sure that you tap your brush off so you can use this as under eye concealer. I know a lot of people wouldn't put powder under their eyes, but I find this to be a really creamy powder. Go in with this around my nose, covering up and blending in those broken capillaries. Then I'm going to use the bigger end of my brush and I'm going to pick up a little bit more of the powder. And again, I'm going to tap that off. I'm going to color correct the front of my cheek here, the age spot that I have going on over here, and just very lightly kind of even up those areas with a little bit of powder. So we're each going to apply makeup differently and less or more depending on what our skin issues are. So where I have the combination, oily T-zone, I tend to have a lot of texture up here. I tend to be red pretty much down the center of my face. So I put, a little more of the powder down the center of my face. If you don't want to put any on at all and your face is nice and clear and doesn't have redness or the broken capillaries or the enlarged pores or the texture, then you could definitely skip this step. But for me, I'm just going to put a little bit of this kind of right in the middle between my eyebrows and a little bit on my chin, buffing it in along the center of my nose. I have a lot of discolorations down the center of my nose from sun damage. So this is the area that I like to color correct my face. I really don't do as much for my eyes because I don't have as many under eye issues. That mainly is genetic, but also because I sleep on my back, and so I don't have a lot of puffiness and I don't have genetic dark circles under my eyes. So I'm fortunate from that aspect, but I do have other stuff that I do like to cover up. So depending on what you need to cover up, you will do this differently. So it all depends on what you need. This is the matte version and I wear medium beige number 12. There's also a non-matte version of this for people who have drier skin, but this doesn't ever tend to look cakey or like makeup or anything. So it's just a very natural look. You can still see my skin through it. So, know where my cheeks are pink on the fronts, you can still see that, so we don't really need to put on any blush. We have just color corrected the things that we wanted to cover. So let's move on to step number 3, which is to define our features. Last time I did a like no makeup look and I didn't do brows, and the comments underneath were like, how could you leave the house without your brows on? I was like, what? Oh my God. Okay, so I'm going to include brows in here. They really are kind of the frames for the face. So this is one of the places that we're going to add in definition because, of course, as you know, as we get older, our brows tend to get sparser and our lashes tend to get sparser. So for today's brow product, I'm going to use Anastasia Brow Wiz. This is a really nice brow pencil. The color I have it in is taupe. So first I'm going to take the spoolie and comb my brows so that I can see what is needed. And then to define the brows, the other end has a super fine pencil. So this is great for drawing on individual hairs. Now, if you're not used to doing your brows, this is like going to be your first time. You don't want to start at the inner corner because if you go with too heavy of a hand here, it's going to look really obvious and drawn on. And what you want is a nice natural looking brow. So always best to start out in the middle of your brow, get used to making strokes that you want to make, and then once you're used to it, bring it in here. So you're going to want to fill in any sparse spots. So like I have a little space there that doesn't tend to have any hairs in it. Back in the day, the brows used to be curved. Now they're more straight. So where I have a big curve up in here, I like to kind of straighten that out by just drawing a really straight line right across there. I just use the lightest stroke, so it's almost like touching and then pulling away, and touching and pulling away. And then you just make these tiny little strokes. You can extend the tail of your brow a little bit. And then once you're used to making those tiny little strokes, then you can start going up into this area and filling in the front section of your brow. So we're going to go ahead and get out that spoolie, and then you just use that to comb this through and kind of blend in everything that you just did. That really helps to soften and blend out your brows. So I'm going to go ahead and do everything on this side, and we're going to leave this side plain so that we can see the difference of how these things will like define your features. Then moving on to the eyes. I think the eyes are really the one thing that we want to define most, and it's really all about the eyelashes. I think eyelids actually have really pretty coloring on their own. So the liner I'm going to use today is from Marc Jacobs. It's the gel highliner. This one is matte and it's called Irony, and this is a dark gray. Once you get to be a little bit older, sometimes black can be just a little bit too harsh for defining, so I like to use something that's either a dark matte gray or a dark matte brown. What I mainly do on an everyday basis if I'm not wearing makeup is I will tight line my eyes, which means that you put your eyeliner at the base of your lashes instead of above. So basically you want to open your eye but look down into your mirror. You want to press your eyeliner at the base of your lashes, and this is going to help your lashes look really full and darker, like you have more of them. And there you go. So now you've done your tight lighting. So quick and easy. And if you do want to add eyeliner on the top, you can go ahead and put a little bit on the top, or just do a little bit of a smudge on the top. And then I'm just going to use my finger to smudge that line out. Then I will usually not do any dark eyeliner on my lower lid, but I do like a nice sparkly eyeliner down there to open up my eye, kind of define the lower lid. The eyeliner I use for that is Physicians Formula Shimmer Strips. This is the silver one. This comes in a packet of 3, and it does have like a gunmetal gray one and a matte black, which you could have used for this one. So I just pull that lower lid down ever so gently and slightly, and I just run that right at the base of the lashes. So that helps to define my lower lid. It brightens and it keeps my eye looking open and awake. Then all we need is a coat of mascara. I'm going to use my Estee Lauder Sumptuous Knockout Mascara today. This one gives me really nice natural looking lashes. So we'll just put on a couple of coats of mascara. I like to concentrate most of my mascara at the outer edge of my eye, especially if you have closer set eyes. Concentrating your mascara at the outer lashes really helps to make your eyes look like they're a little further apart. And then the last thing to define is the lips. I don't know about you, but as I've gotten older, my lips have gotten thinner. The coloration of my lips is a little, you know, because of all my sun damage, they're not even around the edges. So I do like to wear a lip liner and a lipstick, or else, you know, if I'm really going just an everyday thing, I'll just put on a little lip gloss. If I am putting on just lip gloss, the one I'll usually use is the Buxom Full On Lip Cream. This one's in Hot Toddy. It's really pretty. But today I'm going to line the lips just because it helps to define them. This is my Urban Decay Naked Lip Liner. Here's a full-size one, 24/7 lip liner. This one is in Naked, which is a perfect like nude color. So I'm just going to line my lips, but lining it I find just really helps to define the shape of my lips. Oh yeah, I'm only going to do the one side, so let me do this side. And then the lipstick I'm going to put on is another Urban Decay lipstick. This one is in Sheer Liar. This is their Comfort Matte. Really pretty color. All right, so let me just hold still for a side-by-side picture. All right, so I went ahead and evened everything up so we have the makeup going on both sides of the face. So I hope you found the video helpful and informative. If you did, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So thank you as always for your time. I really appreciate your watching. So have a great day and I will see you in the next video. Take care everybody. Bye-bye.